Today, we're reviewing an e-bike conversion kit from Amazon that will convert your regular bike into a powerful electric bike. The Yose Power Kit comes with a 500-watt hub motor, battery, integrated controller, LED display, and throttle, all for $500. We'll be using an old specialized hard rock bike we had lying around and converting it into an e-bike, showing you the conversion process and putting the e-bike kit to the test to see how it performs. First, taking a look at what the kit comes with. Inside the box, you get a new rear wheel that has the 500-watt hub motor already installed. They also include a battery, which is a 48-volt, 13-amp-hour battery with 625 watt-hours, and it mounts to the frame. The battery mount also has the motor controller built into the mount. You can get the kit in either cassette or freewheel option, so be sure to double-check which one you have on your bike before ordering. For accessories and tools, it comes with Allen wrenches, a crank puller, a freewheel removal tool, and a bottom bracket tool. And they also have a great tutorial video with step-by-step instructions on how to do the swap. First, on our bike, we had to remove the rear wheel and then swap the tire and tube to the new wheel using tire levers. Then, we installed the cassette freewheel back onto the new wheel with the motor and used the freewheel tool to tighten it back on. We ran into one small issue here. Our bike was a 7-speed, while the kit seems to be designed for an 8-speed. So we had to buy a little spacer from a local bike shop, which only cost us $4. Then the cassette would fit right back on. For brakes, we only have regular rim brakes on this bike, so we didn't need to reinstall a disc brake. Next, we installed the wheel back onto the bike frame and tightened everything back up. After that, we needed to mount the pedal assist sensor. This is where you need to use the crank puller removal tool in order to remove the crank. For the bottom bracket, our older bike had a different bracket that didn't use the tool included, so we used a wrench in order to remove it on both sides. And once it was out, we installed the pedal assist sensor and made sure the plate was facing the correct position. Then we put everything back together. Moving along to install the throttle, brake lever, and display, these are all pretty easy. Just take off the grips and slide the throttle on and swap the brake lever on the rear brake. The new brake levers are used to signal to the motor to shut off when you hit the brakes. Next, installing the display is super easy. It mounts directly onto the handlebar. And finally, the last step is mounting the battery. Our mounting screws for the bottle holes were too low on the down tube, so we would have had to mount the battery upside down, but instead we got this battery mount adapter, which you can find on Amazon for $20, that allowed us to mount it higher up. After mounting the battery, all that was left to do was run all the cables and plug everything in quickly to test it and make sure everything works. Once we routed the cables, we neatly zip-tied them all down. And since there was some extra slack in the main wiring, we decided to use the included frame pouch bag, which has a convenient hole to run the wires through. Putting it to the test, we noticed the motor is very quiet and makes no noise. The pedal assist kicks in after about 1 second of pedaling and works well in all 7 gears. Using the throttle, you can start from a standstill and it has a steady gradual torque that will get you going at a top speed of 24 miles per hour. And once you hit that speed, the motor will essentially stop giving you any assistance. Looking at the LCD display, it has an on-off switch on the side that you can use to power on the bike. The display shows the pedal assist mode you're in, your current speed in the middle, and on the bottom is the battery charge level. And the display itself is also a button to change your riding modes, so you can just press it up or down to change the modes. There's also a little mode button on the side, and if you hold it for 4 to 5 seconds, it'll get you into the advanced settings, where you can change it from kilometers per hour to miles per hour, adjust the wheel size, and change the max speed limit, which we set ours to the maximum of 25 miles per hour. For range, it'll vary depending on your weight and how much throttle you use. In our tests, riding at a speed of around 20 miles per hour and using not too much throttle, we were able to get around 40 miles with reasonable acceleration and not doing too many hills. But speaking of hills, we tested it on a few and found that it had enough torque to help us to the top, even with just throttle alone. We also tested riding off-road, but since our bike is a hardtail with no suspension, we'll keep it to the streets and bike paths. So, overall, We think this kit is perfect for those getting into e-bikes and who already have an existing bike to use and don't want to spend thousands of dollars on an expensive new electric bike. Let us know what you think, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Next, be sure to watch our other e-bike reviews and comparison videos on our channel.